without further ado, let's switch over to the standard setup and jump into the stewardship. We're not going to jump right into the build. First, we're going to kind of do a little bit of theory crafting around it. So let's switch over to stewardship. So what do you get with stewardship? You get 2 additional train stewards. They each have advanced prototype, and so advanced prototype means they get plus 5 HP, plus 5 damage shield, and multi-strike. And then all of your upgrades are halved. So there are kind of, I would say, 2 ways to play stewardship. Way number 1 is that, oops, not daily challenge. We're going to the logbook. Way number 1 is that you could just ignore the train stewards and play like a standard game. A couple of problems with this, with ignoring the train stewards. So the first is if you ignore the train stewards. So let's look at train stewards. So if we ignore the train stewards, we have to get rid of them because you start with 6 of them. Very difficult to pull off. And also it kind of makes the challenge a little bit less fun to try to work around. So for me, I think doing the ignoring the train steward strategy, while it can work and you just go with a standard setup, I find it to be, again, less enjoyable, and you end up having to do a lot of train steward removal. So, and I think in the end, even if you go with a kind of light train steward setup, you're still going to have 1 or 2, and you still need to figure out how you're going to play those 1 or 2, right? So option 2 is that you lean into the train stewards and try to do a build that takes advantage of the benefit of having all these train stewards with damage shields, multi-strike, and extra health and damage. So if we're going to do a lean into build, what would be the recommendations? Let's start with champions. So which champions lend themselves to a lean into train stewards? Both Hellhorned. I mean, you can always play Angriest Prince, but then you're kind of, again, you're going on the, we're going to ignore the train steward. The nice thing about the Angriest Prince is that the Angriest Prince does not really require a lot of money. So if you do like an Angriest Prince build, you can have the train stewards act as kind of cleanup crew or as early game buffers for the Hornbreaker Prince. But basically later on they don't really mean that much. You could also have them tank for the Hornbreaker Prince as kind of a Reaper build, but the problem here is that they don't really have, they're not super tanky, right? Like, they have the damage shield, but that's only for a couple of attacks, and then even their base health is still only 13, so you have to upgrade them quite a lot with a lot of health in order for them to actually tank for something like Reaper, and they're not really built for tanking, even with Stewardship, or with the buffs. So I would not recommend doing an Angriest Prince build unless you're going to do an ignore type setup. Shardtail Queen is interesting. It can work because with Shardtail Queen you can have, for example, a floor with 2 or 3, or well, like 2 train stewards, and then you can use the Rage Imps. So if you do like Imp Parade, you can do the Rage Imps, you can do the Welder Helpers. So the Welder Helpers are going to make them tanky. The Rage Imps are going to help them do a lot of damage, and they can take advantage of the multi-strike a little bit better. So certainly you can do Shardtail Queen. So if you're going to go Hellhorn, would recommend doing Shardtail Queen. I don't think it's the best build, so it's not the one we're going to be doing, but I think it's one of the better ones because of how much the train stewards can take advantage of the imps. Then if we look at Awoken, Wildington could potentially be good if you get Quick and Root. The biggest issue with this setup here is Wildington doesn't have a lot of health, neither do the train stewards. So if you end up going Sweep, it's not particularly great because, because you don't really, you don't really have a way to survive on that floor unless you somehow support it with another unit. Having them all be quick is fine at the beginning, and you'll do really well for the first few fights. But then as the train stewards start to fall off in damage, you're going to struggle. The one nice thing about Awoken in general as a secondary clan, especially Exile Awoken, is that you get the I can't think of the card right now. The Root Seeds, and the Root Seeds is really good with anything with multi-strike. So you're gonna have these Train Stewards. They're gonna have multi-strike. You can Root Seeds them up to 11, and then they become really strong. But then honestly, you probably not do it with a Train Steward unless you had a third multi-strike on a Train Steward. You'd probably pick an Awoken or an Awoken unit to take advantage of that. Sentient also can be okay. The nice thing about Sentient is that it tanks everything, and then if I would probably go something like Rejuvenation to take advantage of the high health, or Bristling. This can work because then you can put Train Stewards behind. The other thing that's nice about Awoken in general is that you can get Descending Retreat. So then you can put your Train Stewards on like the middle floor or top floor, get your main floor with the Sentient on a middle or bottom floor, and then you Descending Retreat all of the units down. A very similar type setup can work with Melting Remnant, which we'll get to in a minute. And what I'll recommend, and I'll maybe even just kind of spoil, I think the best way to play, if you want to take advantage of all of the Train Stewards, I think the best way is either to get one or two really, really good Train Stewards, or stack the floor. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, so that's one also way to do it. You have with the Stygian Guard, I don't think either one work particularly well. And the Stewardship has the problem that most of the spells within Stygian Guard need to be upgraded for them to be really good, especially not the basic cards, but like any of the other cards, you want to minus the cost, you want to give them double stack, you want to make them remove consume, and you just don't get the money. Like, you just don't have enough coins to upgrade what you need to within Stygian Guard to take advantage of their spells. So I would recommend avoiding it. If you do try to go Stygian Guard, I think the Soul Guard is going to make a lot more sense. And you might try to do Soul Guard the Mighty, which we'll showcase later today, or something like Cold Channel can also work. But I would say this one's a little bit more on the dangerous side. I don't think it fits as well. If you're going to do Stygian Guard, you're probably going to do and ignore the Train Stewards build because it just doesn't fit super well thematically. Umbra, in my opinion, Primordium is going to be your better route here, and I would do Aggressive Edible. I think Aggressive Edible takes the most advantage of the multi-strikes on the units. The question then becomes, do you gorge on a Train Steward, which, I mean, with the multi-strike having basically an extra 120 damage, that's going to be 120 times 2. The biggest issue is going to be survival, but the nice thing about Umbra is that with Umbra, you have a lot of damage shield opportunities to stack onto the Train Steward. So you can get a lot of different options there. The other nice thing about Umbra is that you can increase the space. So you can add lots and lots of space onto a floor, allowing it to be much easier to overstack. You also have Cave-In, which is another great way to overstack lots of Train Stewards on a single floor. So with Umbra, there are kind of two ways to play it. One is that you do a Gorge floor and then a Train Steward floor, or a Gorge floor and then a Train Steward floor with Primordium. Or you don't worry about gorging at all, and you go the Ember Drain package with Primordium. You could even do something like Superfood. So you could do Superfood plus all of the Ember Drain package, and then you get that onto your front Train Steward, who becomes just massive and a monster. So I would say it's one of those two. If you're going to do a Gorge-oriented build, I would do Aggressive Edible. If you're going to do the Ember Drain package-oriented build, I would do Superfood. I would not do Penumbra, unless you go specifically Architect, which takes advantage of the extra space to get more Train Stewards. The problem you're going to find with Architect is you still need to find a way to scale your Train Stewards so that they do enough damage. And one issue with the Ember Drain package is it's expensive to upgrade. You need double stack, you need minus costs, you need holdovers, and all of that gets a little bit scary. Last, and this is actually what we're going to do, is Little Fade. I would not do Rector Flicker. I think that the Reform builds are too difficult with Rector Flicker. The Train Stewards do take advantage of the Reform. The hardest part is getting enough burnout and having them die consistently enough that you can take advantage of the Dark Calling. Harvest can also work, but then you're not really relying on the Train Stewards, you're relying on other units instead. Dregs do not really fit very well. One of the big problems you have with this build is having enough space. The Melting Remnant do not have ways to increase the space on their own. I think you end up getting stuck with a lot of extra units with the Dregs and the Train Stewards and whatever draft units you pick and Rector Flicker. You just don't have space for all of them. And I think it becomes difficult to play out your hand. And then I would say you end up going Dark Calling. And again, the question is, where are you putting all these units? How do you make sure they're dying? I think that becomes very difficult. I think the best, and this is what we'll do, the best is to do Firelight. Firelight fits extremely well with Train Stewards because they already have multi-strike, so you're getting a lot of damage on this Train Stewards. The biggest problem is that the Train Stewards are not so tanky, so every time Little Fade dies, you get plus 5 HP. If you can overstack the floor, it's even better. The best possible way, in my opinion, to play this is to do the Melting Remnant plus the Umbra. You go for as much increasing capacity and floor manipulation as you can. With Firelight, ideally, you get one burnout, so you reform her, Little Fade, one time, and then you then she says burnout as a natural burnout, and then you try to get the Endless Stone on her. Alternatively, depending on the space, you may have to do something like continue to keep enough room to put a Little Fade. But I think this is the best setup. I think it takes advantage of the Train Stewards' natural multi-strike and damage shield. It helps to give them extra health. And in general, the Firelight's pretty good. It also means you don't have to get a draft unit. You can actually play this Firelight. Getting plus 30 damage onto the Train Stewards is plus 60 damage onto each one of them. That's usually enough damage to kill Seraph outright. The other nice thing about this build is when your Train Stewards die and you bring them back, they get damage shield. So if you're playing against things like Seraph the Patient, that is full hits they can absorb. So even if they end up dying because you can't get enough burnout on them in time, when they die and get reformed, they have the damage shield and the buff from getting reformed. So I think this is as I said, I think this is the best way to play it. With Umbra as secondary, so you can get as much increasing the space as possible. Also, between the two of them, you have two different ways of floor manipulations. Let's go into the cards. What do we want now? So if we're looking at, let's start with the Melting Remnant. With Melting Remnant, we want to avoid basically any other major units. We already have a kind of version of draft that's better. So the Train Stewards base stats are better than drafts. We don't really want anything that requires a lot of upgrades. So Tomb units become really dangerous because you need Endless on them. Bounty Stalker as well. You need either Endless, Burnout, or something like that on him. It becomes difficult. Votivary doesn't really make sense either. You need something like Multi-Strike, take advantage of it, or just use him to die. But then why are you having him die in a build where you want Little Fade to die every turn? So it doesn't really fit super well. The Barons, Tycoons, Thugs, like none of this really fits super well. The only exception would be a Paraffin Enforcer, because you don't necessarily need to upgrade the Paraffin Enforcer. He's pretty good on his own. He's going to grant Rage onto everything there. What we do absolutely want is, let me find it. We want Dripfall. Dripfall is extremely important to overstack the floor. The only issue is Little Fade not being able to die. So then it becomes very important that you have Burnout onto Little Fade, so Little Fade will die from at least the Burnout. Or if you can get something like a, Subsuming Blade, Then you can drip, fall down, and subsuming blade, but then it becomes difficult with you have to draw those in the same turn. But yeah, then the best, and you're exactly right, Chris. The best is to get intent on death. So then you can put Little Fade in the back. You can drip fall all the units onto that same floor, and then you can just continue to use intent on death over and over and over again to increase all their stats. That's the ideal setup. You can't always guarantee it, but if you get intent on death, this becomes significantly easier. If we then look at Umbra, you don't want the Ember Drain package. You need Ember for playing your Train Stewards, unless you just magically get -2 cost on units. You need to have Ember, so we would avoid the Ember Drain package because it's very expensive. You have to do a lot of upgrades in order to make Ember Drain package work. So we would avoid that, but getting things like Prismal Dust is really good. Getting Prism Retrieval can be really good, especially if we're going to keep all of our Train Stewards. There's a really good chance we can take advantage of this to get a huge Train Steward out of it. Ember Cache is always going to be good. You also then want your space increasers. So Space Prism becomes really strong, the Crucible Extension becomes really strong, and then Cave In. Anything you can do to try to get more units on a floor. Because the more units that take advantage of Firelight, the stronger the floor becomes. So that's the ideal here. So the ideal is that we do, we're probably going to take the Plinks, we're going to take Intent on Death, or sorry, we're going to take a Little Fade with Firelight, and we're going to go all in on the Train Stewards and try to take advantage of their base upgrades. So let's get started. We'll do, again, Melting Remnant, Exile. We're going to do Umbra, Exile, Secondary. And let's see how it goes. Stewardship, Expert Challenge. Okay, we get Prismal Dust, which is great, Memories of the Melted, which is not so great, and Entombed Explosive, which is okay, but we'll probably end up getting rid of them later, depending on how the game proceeds. Let's see if we even get Firelight. If we don't get Firelight, we will take... Good, we got Firelight. Okay, so we don't have to worry about it. We would have taken Little Icarus as a secondary one. I do like Mold Braces. This is certainly going to help make our Train Stewards tankier, getting that 5 armor every time Little Fade dies. So clearly right now we have no way to increase the space and get more units down, but that's going to be a priority for us. Unit drafts. I think we don't need it, and I think it's very risky right now. Well, let's see. At the worst, we can take the 5 coins that we're going to get. Let's start with a Plink. And this is a little bit weird because I don't actually want Little Fade to have extra health. But it is enough that she's not going to die right away. This is a good question. I kind of feel like playing on the top floor, or not middle floor. We'll play middle floor. We'll play you in the top floor. Maybe we get a Train Steward up there later. And we're not going to play the Prismal Dust yet. We do double Train Steward. That's kind of what we needed here. Biggest problem is that we're going to have a lot of cards, and we only have one more primitive mold. So hopefully we don't immediately... Okay, that's actually good. Really good. Means we get Little Fade back. These guys are going to have more burnout going into the next... rounds. Okay, we have another Train Steward. We have... Okay, that's super easy. As I said, the beginning of Stewardship's always easy because the Train Stewards are so strong as the starting units. The biggest problem is that they just fall off over time. Getting another molded is really good, but it's, I mean, as I said, it's drip fall. You gotta have drip fall. I think we don't take any of these. And... Lady of the Reformed is certainly very interesting. Because it is one of the problems is getting burnout onto all the units. You could do... Right now you could do one Train Steward. You could do the Little Fade in front, and then put Lady of the Reformed in the second position. That might be good. She's also very tanky at the beginning, and she'll get even tankier later on. And she reforms and starts with 4 burnout. I think that's okay. I think we'll take Lady of the Reformed. I don't think we'll take any other units, though. The only thing I'm thinking about Lady of the Reformed is it's like one of the only ways to really make sure that our burnout units aren't dying. Spell upgrades or unit upgrades. If we go unit upgrades, we're going to get extra health onto Lady of the Reformed. That's basically it. If we go spell upgrades, we're going to minus the cost of Drip Fall, maybe add damage to a Plink. I have to think what's more valuable here. We're certainly not going to take any unit. What do we have coming up? We have a Duplicate. We also have a Herzl's Horde. We'll probably go the Herzl's Horde, take the 5 coins. Then we have unit upgrade down here, but we actually will want to take the removal. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go left path. We'll take the 5 coins here. Yeah. Oh, Paraffin Enforcer, though. Paraffin Enforcer with Lady of the Reformed is so strong. Okay, we take 2 units. But that's it. We're not taking any more units. Certainly we want more burnout and I think damage, or health, sorry, on Lady of the Reformed. We get her up to 70, and that's pretty good. That's all we're going to need for her. She's really just there to soak up damage, and she'll be able to soak up even more damage with any kind of damage shields we put on her or anything like that. We will take the 35 coins. I think it's quite important. We don't have a lot of good ways right now to... Oh, Plink. What am I talking about? We have really good ways of killing off units. I think what we're going to do is... Yeah. We're going to play... We'll do double Plink here. Do we care about 5? It's 3 damage to our Pyre. So we're definitely playing you guys here. And the question becomes, how much do we care about this clergyman versus picking off 2 of these guys? We have to have these guys, you know what, we have to have them gorge. And because we have to have them gorge, I think we do need to get rid of you. We play you guys out. Now, damage shield's a little bit weird because it does prevent the revenge trigger from going off. So let's put this morsel up top with the expectation that we'll be able to put a Train Steward up there afterward. So now we would really like to bring Little Fade back. There's the Paraffin Enforcer. We can bring Little Fade back, which is always good. It's going to make both of them a lot stronger. We can put a Train Steward up here and then put an Entombed Explosive to take the hit and blow up. We're going to miss the Collector, which is a little bit sad, but I think given that we took the trial, it's fine. And we should have no issues from this point killing everything. What do we get back? We get Little Fade again. It's always going to be good. You guys are doing just fine. Let's put the Entombed Explosive at the bottom. We can go for the Plink here, which seems okay. Get another damage. Oh wait, we don't want a damage shield on you. That's probably fine. I think there's no way that they're getting through the second floor. They might not even be getting through the first floor. We're going to be able to put double Train Stewards. There's even a chance we can Plink. We're already doing 150 damage. Maybe we even kill right here. We'll see. Nope. All right. How are we doing? I think pretty good. We can even now bring down a Train Steward just for kicks. Put damage shield on him. And not going to matter. They're going to kill him during the first hit, but still. It's the principle of it. Now I think we do need a molded. Hollow drippings is certainly good, but I think with the setup we have now, we're okay to not have to do a lot of burnout extenders. I think getting the molded is very important. Space Prism is very important. So good, we're starting to get the cards we need set up here. Best would be Cave In, so hopefully we get that later on, but we'll see. I don't think we need to duplicate it at this point, and we're gonna not take whatever. Like, we just don't need it. Even the Shadow Siege is not worth it in this setup. I do like everything having +3 HP, although that does make it so Little Fade doesn't die quite as easily at the beginning. Commemorative Spike is also a little bit weird. I don't really love either of these, to be honest. I think the 3 HP, it just doesn't really fit what we want to do. We will go Commemorative Spike. The nice thing is that the morsels don't end up in your reform pile. And now the question is, what do we want here? I think it's Gift of Gratitude. We're gonna play it for 60 coins. It's not great, but I just don't think we can make Petty Theft work very well. Although that would be a way to get coins. I think we just do the. Okay, so we're gonna let this one die because we don't. Yeah. Oh, actually, we could put a Train Steward here. That's fine. Yeah, we'll put a Train Steward in. He'll do a little bit of damage to these guys. We can get a second one down there later anyway. I do like. This is where Commemorative Spike is not very good. I want Little Fade to die, and I want Lady of the Reformed to get real big. We're gonna put you down here. Oh, I should have swapped them. Nah, that's fine. We'll deal. We'll deal. It's not super critical. Okay, so we can bring Little Fade back. We can get Train Steward down. We can get you in here again to die. Get a Train Steward behind to take advantage of the stat buffs. Entombed Explosive. Actually, the reason we need to get rid of the Entombed Explosives is so that we can get Little Fade to come back every time, because right now that's a little bit of a challenge for us. I do like double plinking here. And we can only fit them on the middle floor, so that's where we'll put them. Hopefully we bring back that Train Steward. We do. Now we can get extra stats on the Train Steward. Let's increase the space here. Interesting. Plink is a little bit weird. I kind of like just getting. The problem is we can't guarantee that you're gonna stick around. But getting you a lot of damage shield would be really good. Or you know what? Let's just stack this guy. Keep him around for a while. We can bring back Little Fade again, which is great. The bomb is not going to kill right away, but these guys will kill him for certain. And let's do a plink here. Get another Train Steward out to block for this one. Get an Ember Morsel out here. And what do we have dead? We have a Train Steward and an Entombed Explosive. Okay. Little Fade's now dead again, which is always good. This is where things get a little bit difficult because we're gonna have a lot of garbage showing up now. This works, although how's the timing work with this? You give 2 burnout, so that should be that it 1, 0. It's gonna have 1 left. I'm not really sure how that's gonna work out. Let's put you here. Let's keep it safe. Put you here. Put you behind. We can plink, but we won't. We don't actually want to kill this one, otherwise Little Fade doesn't die. So we need to play it like this. And we're not gonna bring any. Oh, actually, we could bring one back and then just keep it in our hand. That would be better, so that we have a better chance to get Little Fade again next turn. Well, we have 2 turns. We have 2 turns to get her. Problem is now our... it's not good. I think we put it like this. And I think that they kill just fine. Yeah, we're good. Because we're going to get a lot of burnout onto the Train Steward, and you have so much freaking health. It's a good time to get 60 coins. Excellent. Thanks, game. Okay, easy. Alright, that's second run down. Umbra Stone is really good. The nice thing about Umbra Stone is it's one and done, and then it's out of the deck. Forever Consumed is also pretty good. But I really like Umbra Stone. Let's do it. I'm not taking anything else. We already have 2 full of a deck, and although I would love to get more draw, we need more capacity. Because Dripfall by itself is not going to cut it. Oh man. Yeah, we have to do more capacity. This means that we can fit a full extra unit onto the floor with Little Fade, which is very important. It means we can fit 1. Well, once we do Space Prism, we can fit 3 units, 3 2-cost units, or 3 2-space units, and Little Fade in front. We have to go removal because we have a lot of stuff we need to get rid of out of our deck. Plinks, especially, are bad. We don't want at all morsels, because the intention is not to play them. We want to minus the cost of Dripfall. We don't need to double stack anything. I don't want to do 10 damage. Let's re-roll and hope that we get holdover. Permafrost is not great. We can minus cost the... Well, hold on. Permafrost minus costed Molded's good. Then we can guarantee that we can bring back a unit when we need it. And it's a picked unit, which is also very important. So that helps. Okay, so now we get Firelight 2. This is looking really good. It's one of the few ways that you can just permanently scale Little Fade. Spell Shield 2 is fine. We do Plinks. And Plinks are not going to be how we win this. The other nice thing is that if we happen to get... Okay, you are... This is actually great here. Do we like Umbra Stone on you already? I think we save Umbra Stone. Put the Entombed Explosive in. Actually like it in the front. Yeah, we put it in the front. Oh crap, Little Fade's surviving. Oh, because of the armor. Friggin' heck. That's fine. This is where Plink is actually pretty good. Let's get you in here. Get you here. And... There's no way to do that. We can bring back, though... Yeah, I think it's worth it. That saves us 9 pyre damage. That's absolutely got to be worth it here. Excuse me. Okay, I don't really care who we get back. Little Fade certainly is better. Get you here. And as much as I would like the Dripfall unit down, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I think we'd rather, let's see, you're gonna do 30, 50. Dripfall you down. This Plink is completely worthless. I'm okay with giving you a damage shield, but I also... I think we plink at the bottom if we're going to plink anywhere. Okay, there's actually a chance we kill this thing. Biggest problem right now is that we just don't have a way to kill units on the top floor because we haven't been placing units there. We can bring back the Entombed Explosive. It kills the front unit. It does not kill the front unit. I don't know what I was thinking. Plink does not help either. This is Little Fade, who won't be dying, but will add 53 damage onto the backliner, which is good. Let's get a Train Steward up here as well. And we get to keep our free molded. We're going to take 13 damage, which is not great, but it's fine. We should be killing this guy now. Yeah, we're killing everything now, which is good. You're going to die, which is also very good. We have not gotten the Space Prism yet. It's the next turn. Then we'll be able to fit a Train Steward down there. That'll help. Apart from that, just get you up here. Get you here. I mean, we're not in any danger at all. Okay, so we can bring back Little Fade. Space Prism. Train Steward out there and put Little Fade out. And yeah. Very cool. Seems like a good build. Cool. Wicked Blaze is pretty good. I don't think we want any of these though. I think we're good with bringing Little Fade back. Don't need Feast. We don't want Engine Upgrade. We don't need Prism. Well, Prism Retrieval is actually really good. It allows us to already increase the stats on a Train Steward. Yeah, I think that's worth it. And if we get down to where it's at the bottom of our deck, then we just make sure we don't play one Train Steward before. Even for one cost, it adds 5 damage permanently, which is always good. Pyre Health is very appealing, but I think it's a good opportunity for us to get a unit upgrade in. Sketches. I don't think Sketches fits here. Because we need to be able to have space to play Little Fade, and that kind of ruins that for us. So we're going to skip and just take the 10 coins. We're definitely not going to play Volatile Gauge. It does not make sense at all. Multi-Strike, and we want Multi-Strike. I think it's on the Paraffin Enforcer, because it buffs everybody. And then, in addition, we can give Paraffin Enforcer more health, which seems okay. Let's see what we get from the Concealed Caverns. With Seraph the Diligent, I really like Ember Stasis. The problem with Ember Stasis is going to be that Ember Stasis gets us these very expensive cards to play, but they do 100. They do 100 damage, so they're not worth nothing. And I think we have to take it. If you have the chance to take it, you take it. Spikes is not a problem for us. In fact, we prefer Spikes because then our Lady of the Reformed can add Burnout onto our backliners, which is really important. Okay, so we'll play. Well, this is perfect. Perfect start. Yep. Hi-yo. I have a minute. Hold on one second. What's up? Just put it in my wallet and then write a note. Alright, cool. Love you too. Sorry, we had to sort out. We had to sort out how to do the. My daughter has a foot injury, And so we were sorting out how to manage the foot injury. But let's get Lady of the Reformed in there. Completely different topic here. So the problem with massive stones is that you have garbage in your deck, and it's really, really important that we can reform Little Fade. So I would be nervous to have permanent garbage in my deck, exactly for that reason. That was really good. Okay, let's get a... Part of me is like, just do a Calcified Ember now, but we want to take advantage of this. We'll be able to get them later, I think. Get you in there, and then we just wait until we have enough space to play out. Oh. You're a big dude, aren't you? How do we want to do this? I think we are going to plink. So we're definitely putting a Train Steward here. We can, members of the Melted. Plink. Can't believe we missed that plink. That's tragic. So we get a Train Steward. Let's get the worst one here. Umbra Stone U to make sure everything's dying. And I'm okay getting a third Prismal Dust here. We're probably going to take damage from this Cliff Guardian, which is going to be really bad. Unless we get Drip Fall right now. If we get Drip Fall now, excellent. We got Drip Fall. So let's bring him back down. And he is stunned. We can bring Little Fade back, which certainly helps, although you're getting dangerously close to dying. Luckily, the boss is coming up soon. Ooh. And then... timing on this is awful. Space Wisdom has just consistently been on the bottom of our deck, which is unfortunate. Let's get you here. You here, so we can actually avoid damage on them entirely. And that's it. I mean, they have so much burnout now. Okay, so let's increase the space. Let's get a Train Steward in here. Wow. That was a pretty big difference in terms of damage. That's actually hilarious. Let's bring back this Entombed Explosive. It's going to die again. That was actually hilarious. Okay, then we're good. I mean, the boss is going to die on the second floor. We didn't have to put any units there. Cool. Die, die. Unfortunately, we did not get rid of any of our garbage. We still have all 3 garbage in our deck. We have no... Oh, that's not true. We have X costs. Yeah, that's actually good. The X costs make that valuable. Remnant Pact is really good. Yeah. It helps out a lot. And... do we want Ember Cache? I do like Ember Cache a lot. Just the question is, does it fit this build? I guess it's okay. It could make some of our X-Cost cards really good if we time it so that we use it with one of the X-Costs. I mean, think about that with like a 7 mana or 7 Ember Prism Retrieval. That's plus 35 damage onto a unit. But anyway, let's see how it goes. We will not be able to afford trinkets, but being able to get rid of 2 more plinks is really appealing. And taking the coins for later. I don't know what spell upgrades we would get right now, so I think this is the best for now. Get rid of 2 plinks. That evens out us taking the Remnant Pact. We cannot afford anything, but let's look at what we... Oh, we get sad. Oh, we get sad here. Oh, man. Oh, that was painful. Just gotta pretend like we didn't see that. It's fine. It's fine. We don't need it. We don't need it, guys. We're good. Okay. So this is interesting. Part of me is like, but you gotta get the Lady of the Reformed in here, right? Biggest issue is that they're just not doing enough damage right now. Well, we're gonna try it. I mean, these guys can get to the top. They're only gonna do 6 damage to our pyre. I guess they would do more if they would end up doing more damage if she comes with them and buffs them again. Let's do it like this. We'll play Ember Cache. Okay. Yeah, they're gonna do 12 damage to the pyre. I don't think there's any way we can kill them off. Even with this extra 50 damage, it's still not enough. We do need to Space Prism. Bring back Little Fade. And then I'm like, we gotta get the Train Steward in there, but I also like want to get the Entombed Explosive up here. That's 80 damage. It's exactly enough to kill the Guardian. But honestly, you gotta get the Train Steward in there. Everything's dying, except for Little Fade. Maybe we don't play Umbra Stone. Play that out like that. Yeah, I think that's the best. We'll take 12 damage. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. There's a really good, a really good Prism Retrieval. Oh, dog. I do think we actually need to play the Calcified Ember right now, though. So we're not going to take a full advantage, but we're still going to get a really good one. Do that. Get back Paraffin Enforcer. That's exactly who we wanted. And then, yeah, let's get a big Train Steward. You gotta be kidding me, game. Why you gotta be like this? What did I do to you? I don't understand. Ugh. It's fine. It's fine. You know what? $95 kills you. 60 kills you. 35 30. We can get 35 damage onto Fel. Even more. Huh. What do we drip fall? I kind of like drip falling this Train Steward down here. Like that. Give you an extra damage shield. We're gonna go for a first floor kill. That's the ideal here. Where the heck is Little Fade? Give you more damage shield. I mean, it's fine. We're surviving without any issues. And honestly, that maybe would have been maybe was okay. Gosh, words are hard. Because okay, there's the Remnant Pact. Play this. Get out of the deck. And now we're good. Should kill her right now. Yeah. We can even bring you down. Seems good. I mean, I really like how this deck is working right now. Yeah, auto mod. I don't know what that... I don't know why I got so upset about that. Alright, let's do it. Boom. So we got through Fel. Still have 50 HP. We don't need another Remnant Pact. Wax and Spike, though. Yeah. I mean, even if you play it for 0, it's still adding extra burnout. We don't... Extra space is not going to help now because we already are at the level that we want. So then it's, for me, extra draw. Get to our cards more consistently. Yeah. I think we're in a really good position here. The question is, do we want extra spell upgrades, or do we want... Making more things free is certainly good. Making a Train Steward better. The problem is we can't guarantee which Train Steward shows up. I also would like to get rid of the last Plink, as well as what? An Entombed unit, I think, an Entombed Explosive. So let's go this route. And actually, let's just get rid of both Entombed Explosives. Yeah, Fade's First Blade would be amazing. I mean, Fade's First Blade is always amazing with Firelight builds. Let's make... what is this now? Double stack again. I just don't really think double stack makes sense with any of these. I do like the idea of Remnant Pact being free or Primitive Mold being free. I think it's Remnant Pact because we're always going to play Remnant Pact when it shows up, almost every time. Holdover would be great. We didn't get it. Remove Consume onto what? Space Prisms, not particularly great. Ember Cache is interesting. Memories of the Melted will always pay for itself. I think Memories of the Melted's good. And with the extra draw, it makes it a little bit more likely that we'll get one of our X costs the turn that we get Memories of the Melted. Alright, little fade. Seems good so far. Yeah, we don't do any damage with spells. I think the problem right now is that we don't play enough spells, or we don't play through our deck fast enough that consume removal is actually that amazing in general. Even though I don't love it, I do think this is okay. And then we'll put Remnant Pact already on Little Fade. If we can get the... Oh, we didn't get it. X cost. This would be 15 times. We could potentially get... that's so good. 25 times 2. It's a 50 damage. Yeah, Pyre Wing's awful. I think we have to do a half measure here. I don't think we can afford to risk it all. So let's do one. Extra one. Get him in there. We're doing 85 damage. These guys are going to do an extra 50 damage. So we're only going to take 4 from it. We're not going to get the collector either, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Memories of the Melted gives us nothing. But we can increase burnout on everything, which is also good. So we'll do that for free. Cool. Take our 4 damage. And as long as we can bring Little Fade back. Oh yeah, Little Fade is permanently free. Everything's dying. The Ember Drain is annoying. I don't think descending one of them makes sense. Let's put out a Train Steward up here. And then, I don't think we dripfall anything. We could dripfall this guy, but it doesn't really make a difference. Do we put in a Train Steward down here? I don't think it's worth it. So the concern's going to be Little Fade. Yeah, that's the problem. Little Fade got the Morsel Miner. Excuse me. Excavated Ember. Little Fade will come back. We don't really need anything else. Let's get you in the bottom. Oh, you know what? Let's get rid of this. It's a good chance to get rid of that. And I think, honestly, I still think we're going to be just fine. I'm okay now bringing down one of these guys. Yeah. Seems good. Because Little Fade's going to die, and then, yeah, we're going to kill. That's amazing. Cool. And in case that wasn't enough, we could just add 7 damage shield to the Paraffin Enforcer. Cool. It's working out really well. And Seraph the Diligent is not going to be super challenging for us. I think we skip here. Yep. And Crucible Extension. I think it's okay. If we can get holdover on it, then we can fit all the Train Stewards there and still put Little Fade, which would make an insane setup. I think we need the Pyre health. I don't necessarily want to duplicate. I'd like the removal as well. Although the nice thing about duplicate, one of the issues we're going to have right now... What are we going to remove? We're going to remove 1 primitive mold and a blink and a plink. I think we want the Pyre health as well. So let's go this way. Let's get plink removed. 1 primitive mold. What do we have here? Nothing super appealing out of that. Removing consume from Space Prism is more appealing right now. Or Ember Cache. So I actually like this a lot. What this basically means when we were doing it on Ember Cache is that we have a lot of cards we can use to get devoured, and then it'll be a lot of Ember. Let's minus... Oh, there's the holdover. It's so sad. Minus the cost on Crucible Extension. Alright, here we go. I think we're going to be okay. I think we have the setup we need to succeed. Excellent. And the top floor is what gets space reduced. Unfortunately, I think we are going to play a Train Steward out now. We certainly need the damage. Yeah, and we kill a Purifier. So if that was any question at all, that's been very easily decided. So you have to get in here. Right? This is where things get a little bit goofy. I don't think we immediately need Little Fade. Getting you in here, you're going to do 15 extra damage. Is that enough to kill any of these other units? So Little Fade guarantees that we kill the whole floor. If we don't play Little Fade and we play Lady of the Reformed, I don't know if we get the other unit, this unit. We certainly don't get the Purifier. I think we have to hold off on Lady of the Reformed. We can potentially get her back with the Prism Retrieval. And that actually wouldn't be that bad. We certainly want to get you here. I think we just give you the extra damage shield for now. How are we? I guess we're still not killing the Purifier. That's unfortunate. We'll have 1 garbage in the deck, but that's fine. We can survive 1. Okay, so 1. This kills you. The question is, do we want a Train Steward up front to take all the hits? And then it dies, and then we can reform it. That actually seems totally fine. And this may seem like a weird one. I actually want this to be the consumed card because I don't want Ember Cache to get consumed. Really important that we can play more Ember Caches later on. Doesn't really matter which one we get here. This needs to be Little Fade. We're gonna take 1 damage. We can kill this guy. And then I think we have to do the increase of space. Let's get another Train Steward in there. Now we're killing everything. We need 2 more space in order to fit the Lady of the Reformed. There is 1 space. Let's get Prism Retrieval out. Memories of the Melted is really good here. We're gonna get a massive, massive Prism Retrieval. We're gonna play you. Since we don't care right now, let's see what we get. That's not bad, and I kind of want to do it like this with... On who do we want to have? You know what? I think it's on the Train Steward, and the reason why I think it's on the Train Steward is if we can bring you back later with 280 damage, and it won't have the burnout. Yeah, it won't have the burnout because the burnout got applied to it. It's not a burnout unit by default. 40, you're killing, you're hitting, you're killing, you're killing. Yeah, let's get 280 or 300 damage onto Seraph here. That seems pretty good. Okay, the only issue right now is we currently cannot fit. Hold on, let's start with this. Okay. Memories of the Melted. Gonna get you out here. We are gonna bring back Little Fade. Put her there. We can drip fall her later. I really like Trample Stone on you. And then Wax and Spike on all of them is fantastic. They are, guys. We have a really strong floor there. Okay, so hopefully, I thought Lady of the Reformed maybe would have died there, but it's okay. Drip fall. Yes, that's good. I am a little nervous. We do have 2 damage shield here, but I am a little bit nervous here. You're just gonna make it to the pyre. Nothing we can do about that. We need to save space. Let's do it like this. We're gonna take 15 damage, and yeah, we're not. We don't have the most ideal setup here, but the nice thing is that we can bring back people later. We'll start with this. Get another one out. This is not a good turn for Memories of the Melted. Let's increase the space here. Then we can fit this Train Steward plus Little Fade. Or maybe even not, maybe it's Lady of the Reformed. We put Lady of the Reformed up front. Oh, whoops. This is 100 damage we just missed out on. Like an idiot. Let's put you up here. We are not going to get Crucible Extension next turn. We might get Dripfall. I think it's got to be Lady of the Reformed we end up bringing back, but we'll see. Because this Train Steward is so good. Maybe we end up doing Lady of the Reformed, Dripfall a unit down, and no, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a Dripfall. So let's play you. Play you. We can get a Lady of the Reformed and and the... Okay, yeah, I got it. So we get Little Fade up front. Then we get Lady of the Reformed. Then we drip fall this one down. And you're dead. Hey, that's it. We did it. Okay. So, that is the Stewardship Challenge. Whew.
I sent the message to your WhatsApp.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, perfect.
I love you too. Okay, that sounds good. Love you too. See you later. Bye. Cool. So first run was really good. So yeah, that's my recommendation. I think that works pretty consistently. You saw how strong the floors get with all the Train Stewards. The Lady of the Reformed ended up being a really big part of this build. I think that was a really good pickup. But in general, that's kind of the setup. The other way we could have done it was cave in. And again, the biggest risk with all of this is that you can't fit Little Fade on the floor. So I think the extra capacity setup was better, but definitely it wasn't the only way we could have done the challenge. But I really like this setup because it actually takes advantage of the Train Stewards. A lot of the stewardship builds you can do are just like ignore the stewards and do a standard build with less money. But I like when you can make the build actually take advantage of all. I mean, we used all 6 of our Train Stewards in that last fight.